Hello everyone, my name is Steve and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in our Sahara world because that's what we're working on today. We have part 2 of Sahara. I expect some of you have been excited for this, and I also have been quite excited, and today we're going to be finishing the warehouse redstone, at least the main portion of it. Now there's always various water streams and redstone wires and vertical torch towers and other stuff that will be attended to later that just sort of connect the warehouse to other portions, but we're going to be finishing the main bulk of this thing. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to build this whole row 2 more times and then like a half, because there's technically 3.5 of these rows, each one containing 14 modules. So where we left off last time is just a row of this containing 14 of these item modules with the automatic restocking shulker boxes and all that cool stuff. So just go ahead, and what we're going to need to do now is, if you want to come over to this end, because this is technically the end where like the water stream is going to collect along the line and move all the items and stuff like that. So the best way to judge how to start building the next row is the distance between the 2 water streams, and so it is a total of 10 blocks from this block to the equivalent block on the next water stream over. So it would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this block here is basically where the water stream would start, and the water stream runs along here like that, and that's where the water goes. So this is basically the start of the next row of modules. And also, I mentioned before in the previous episode that this little bit right here, this one block, like just area here, is the equivalent, it's this part of these modules. So what you're gonna need to do is basically just build up all of this again on this side. This is really starting to come together now. We have 3 full rows of modules done, and now there is a 4th row that is simply 9 modules long, which we now need to attach over here. As you can see, they all line up and are perfectly spaced, and over here there is an additional 9 modules. So let's go ahead and add that. We add it the same way, only you just stop after 9 modules instead of the full 14 this time. Okay, and this is what we ended up with after all the modules are in place. That is really impressive looking. And you're gonna have this water stream with the ice and everything, and just leave it closed in for now. We still need to put some water over here. Let's actually go ahead and do that. So basically, the way I've been putting the water in is I just start at the very end here, and I put some water there, and then I come all the way to the end here, and then at the very end block of the water I place a pressure plate and then water right over there, and that works pretty well. And then I just have pressure plates also at the very end here before they go into this new pipeline of items at this side, and we're just gonna leave that empty. We'll probably deal with that next episode, but what we need to do now is we need to start adding in this minecart rail, because this is what actually delivers returned empty shulker boxes back to the system. And so it just will travel along in a big snaking loop until it finds something that's empty that it can put a shulker box back into. That way it always gets returned to the right one, because it'll just find an empty one to put stuff back into. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So I think the easiest place to start this would be right here. So you're gonna want to come 2 blocks up and 1 out. And now what you need to do is just start building blocks like this, but then when you get next to this slime, you're gonna have to put some furnaces so that the slime doesn't take anything with it when it goes up. And then you're gonna put a slab there, and now you need to put in the rails. And just let's see, I don't think that's powered. I'll have to verify that, but this just comes down 1 block, and let's see, what does it do next? It stays down and then goes back up. Okay, so it just has a little divot there where it can go and get into that hopper that has empty shulker boxes. So just gonna go like that, and then it goes up and out all the way over to the next area where you just repeat the thing with the furnaces, and then it goes down and then it goes back up. This is actually not too hard. It's not that bad. So we're gonna put more furnaces there, another slab, have the divot that goes down, and then more blocks that just go across like that. And oops, we need to actually put in those furnaces. I forgot about that. Okay, so it actually comes out 3 blocks like this and doesn't go back up yet. So there's 3 additional blocks before it turns around and goes back the other direction. So let's go ahead and put in these minecart rails and I can show you what is actually going on here. So we're going to cover all of this with powered rails like this. You're going to need a lot of powered rails in addition to a lot of other things. This whole Sahara is very resource intensive to build, unsurprisingly. But then here you're going to just have some normal rails and then go back to powered. And so the way that you powered these rails is, let's take a look over here. Alright, so it looks like you just literally put some redstone blocks on top of the rails here like that, and then put more over here. And yeah, all these become powered. So just use some redstone blocks on the same block line as these observers here, and everything will become powered and be good like that. So now this minecart rail is going to snake back in this direction. So let's go ahead and do that. So that would be furnaces and then blocks again. This is actually pretty cool to build. And more slab there, furnaces, and then more blocks going back this way. That needs to be down. Then we put the slab, and then we put the furnaces like that. Alright, there. Now this comes through 1 additional module. And now we're going to see some new part of this pattern. So just put in all the furnaces. And now I believe, let's go. We can actually go look over here and see how this looks. So it basically has a 1 block gap in between this straight rail. So that's not bad. That's pretty easy. So it should end up being something like this before it goes back and heads down in that way again and continues snaking through the entire system. So also let's go ahead and just extend this all the way down to the end. And we're also going to build a small sort of loading system for shulker boxes today. It's not that hard, but we'll just leave that coming out the end there. And so you're just going to have to repeat this same pattern all the way until you get to this end here where we're going to do something different. And I'm going to cut back to the recording when we get to that end, and I'll show you what is different once we finish that area. So I will be right back. Alright, I have most of this in place except for the parts that are a little bit different. So the first part that's a little different is you're still going to want to come out. Actually, yeah, the first part that's a little different, you're going to still want to have this thing go up and come over here. But once you get over here, you're going to need to do some different stuff. So come out a little bit like that. But now you're going to want to go like this and then connect this to that. And I believe, so if you run some powered rails along the top of this, and then you can come down here and use normal rails and then switch back to the powered and then connect it up to that. So this basically just transitions from this area to only that area, because this is where these modules end. So just put another redstone block up there and put a redstone block there, I guess. So now you're going to want to follow this around and then bring it out, I guess, to 3 blocks like that. So it's basically the same as it was over here, which that's 3, and this is also 3. So just have another loop, and then that loops around, comes out here, and total of 3 out. And then bring it around. And now over here is actually the final stretch of this minecart rail. And so if we just connect all this up to here, you'll see that this will join back over here. And then we'll put in the loading system for the empty shulker boxes into the minecart itself. And so let's just finish this off, and then we'll start on that. Okay, let's go ahead and add in the input system now. So you're going to want to have some normal rails here and here and a powered rail right there, but you're going to need to configure this rail here with a torch or some redstone power so that it goes in that direction. And now up here we're going to need a detector rail, And let's put the detector rail. Wait. I need the detector rail to be elevated like that. There. So you're gonna have the detector rail elevated like that. And so now what you need to do is put a chest right on top of that detector rail, and you're gonna need to now get a take some light gray concrete and put some blocks right there and get a comparator. Place that comparator right there, and then put a block at the back of it and put a repeater over there set to the max stick setting. Put a redstone torch right there on the back of a block like that. Put a block above it and then run another comparator over there. And now you're gonna need a sticky piston, and put the sticky piston right there, and then get an end rod and place the end rod there, and that will hold the minecart right there as long as it is empty. But if you put, let's say, an empty shulker box in it, in this case a yellow one, it will go and be released, see, and it will also travel along here until, and it will empty the shulker box into the first available module that needs shulker boxes, which I'm pretty sure it was that first one, because I don't think any of these are 100% full with shulker boxes. Come on. Yep, it emptied it into this very first module. So the way that this actually works is, by the end of this, we're gonna have to fill up every single module 100% with shulker boxes, so that when a shulker box gets dispensed, it will always get returned to the correct module, because that will be the only module missing a shulker box. But for now, that's not what we have going. But this right here is the automatic loading and unloading system. Also, whenever this thing actually gets all the way back, it will just remain here docked and waiting for more shulker boxes to be put in that chest. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is go around and place 2 hoppers on every single one of these chests, on the top chest just like that, and do that for every single module. Okay, from here on out, most of this is pretty straightforward. So what you need to do is you need to start by just putting some ice at the back of that hopper right there. And now you're gonna need to run packed ice basically all the way along the back of all of these hoppers in a big line down every module. And so once you get to the end, you just need to go like this. You need to loop it around and now make a run back in the back of this next row. So it's pretty straightforward. And then after that, we need to install some rudimentary like just pretty simple item sorting systems for these hoppers that just sort out the correct item to go in each module. It's not too complicated, nothing too fancy, but yeah. Once you do get to the end right here, you're going to stop, because there's a little bit different here, because there's going to be a water elevator that just takes the items up and then brings them over and then drops them back down to let them circle through again if any didn't make it. So that's just basically going to be a cycle. Also, you are going to want to extend this ice here out an additional couple blocks, so I think 4, and then just have it be a corner. And now you can go ahead and put in some let's see, glass starting here, and then you should have a slabs on this side, because you need to have slabs so that the items actually can be just a tiny bit on this block, so they can actually go into the hoppers when they're circling around. Now you can run an entire line of slabs on this side over the hoppers, and you're gonna need to do this just on the one side, the back side of this where there are no hoppers. You can just use glass and that'll work just fine. Like here, you can just transition to glass, and you can just have glass all the way on the back. But you're gonna need to do this for every single one of these things. Alright, now we need to add in some of the actual water, and so this is kind of special because we need to use sea pickles to make it so the items are partially in this block with the hoppers so that they can be picked up by the hoppers. So as an example of that, watch, if we throw in those diamonds, you'll see that they also get picked up by that hopper there, because it is just barely within because the items barely just are in this block as well. So I can't figure out how to get the sea pickles to place the same way that it is in Sahara. They're supposed to place like this, only like rotated like 90 degrees that way. So I can't figure out how to make that work. So this also seems to work decently well, But if anyone in the comments could let me know how to fix that, that would be amazing, because that's technically not what actually is in Sahara, but I don't know how to make the pickles place in a different rotation. Anyways, we need to basically do this kind of thing here at all these different corners. So, let's see, not over here, but we need to do it here. So, let's go ahead and add a sign there, and now we can put this water, and let's put in the pickles like that. So that should also work for the items now. And let's go over here, and wait, no, not over there, we need to do it here now. And we'll go ahead and put another sign, put some water, and put in some sea pickles. So I guess this is what we need to do at all these different, at all the areas where it actually goes to a new row. So this is the final area that we need to do that in. Now we have to actually just add in all the water in the rest of the places. So what we're going to do now is just add in these water streams all the way down like this. And I don't know, it might actually be a problem if this pressure plate is like at the same level as next to the hopper. So let's go ahead. If it does end up like that, I would advise just moving it one back if you can, so that it doesn't like interfere with anything. Like over here, the pressure plate would also end up there, so instead just put it there. And I guess that's what we'll do. Now this actually seems to be forming a pattern, so let's just go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and add in all this water. I'll show you how to add it in different bits that are different than what we're doing here. Alright, so now that all the water is in, this next part is optional. You can, at intervals, add sea lanterns into this if you would like. So, like, if you wanted to put them above all of this just to add light, you can. It's optional. Alright, so here is one of the automatic sorting systems. And something I didn't realize that's very irritating is that these hoppers have to be facing into these ice blocks. And they can't be facing downward, so that means that I need to go ahead and change all of these, and if you already built this, you'll have to change them as well. I'm sorry about that. From the angle that I was looking, I couldn't tell that's how they had to face, but you're just gonna have to make all of the top hoppers facing into those blocks to make this work. Okay, I changed all the hoppers, and now I'm gonna show you how to build these auto sorting systems. So first, you're gonna start with a block, just with one block in between from the hoppers, and go down and make an L shape like that. Come out 2 more blocks, and then 2 blocks in that direction. And right here, you're going to place a comparator. Over here, some redstone, and then a repeater there, some dust, and then a torch. And now what you're going to want to do is, depending on what item you have in stock here, in this case we have a slime, you are going to take 4 of just any items that you don't want sorted, like cobblestone slabs, and then you're going to have at the very least 18 items of what you're having sorted in here. And you'll see if you put any additional, it gets sorted out. One of them will always remain there, but if you put another one in, that'll filter through, and now there's this like just slime here. So basically, if you were to put in the slime, you'll see that it does not make it into any of these until it goes here, because this one is diamond and this one is slime. So you're gonna have to individually configure these to be whatever item you want sorted. And if you don't want to have anything sorted, I think what you can do. Oh wait, I'm stupid. I didn't build that yet. If you don't want anything sorted, you're still gonna want to have enough of that, but you're also gonna want to include 18 of the same thing, so that nothing, like, assuming you don't throw this item in, you aren't gonna ever have anything go into here, which means this module will be skipped. Future self here, I actually did some testing when I was building the other modules, and you don't have to have 18 in the first slot. You can just have 1 item in each of the 5 slots, so you only need 5 per. I didn't realize that at the time, but I realized that afterwards, so that should save some of the trouble of trying to count out 18 per every module. So you get the idea now. And so I'm going to go ahead and build up all of these different sorting modules, and I'll probably just configure literally all except these 2 to just not sort anything, because I only have 2 items that are sorted in this entire thing, just for the purpose of demonstrating. You will obviously want to just configure it to whatever item you have in this specific module. Say, like, pretend that was string, you would have like string in these, and that you get the idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real fast. One thing I noticed when building this is once I got to this section, I realized there's not enough room for the sorting module over here because of the water. But I think you don't have to change that, like move it farther out, because you should just be able to build it only starting on this side. So there should still be enough room. Let's go check. So if this sorting module started over here, then there's still plenty of room. So you just have to invert the design. So basically, instead of making it come out on that side, on the third row, you're going to want to make it come out on the left side of these hoppers instead. And that should still work. If this ends up not working, then I will literally just delete this clip and re-record it. But as far as I know, this should all work the same exact way, just inverted. It doesn't change anything because it's still only going to the one module. So just build it on the left side instead of the right side of the hoppers on the third row over. Alright, every single sorting module is in place, which means what we have left to do now is build up the water stream that will take any items that didn't make it through and drop them back over at that end. So start here by, actually, yeah, come out an additional block like that and start by placing a slab right there in front of that soul sand. You can just place glass here now, and now we just need to make a water pipeline that goes up. So the ice is 2 blocks above that, so it's like that. It's not that much higher than the actual other water streams. So let's see, this doesn't need to be very tall either. So basically just make it let's see, I guess that's basically an additional 4 blocks up from this level here. And you're gonna take some water. You know what, we can just, instead of getting kelp, we can just do water source, water source, water. You will want to use, oh shoot, if that actually, okay, it's all fixed. Let's just say that wasn't smart on my end. I should have made sure that was covered before I just let the water dump down. Now this water shouldn't cause any problems. Good. That was gonna be a bad, but it actually only broke like a couple things. So extend this ice pathway all the way out over here, and then make it go like it doesn't need to go that far past, just needs to go a little bit far past. So you know what, let's go ahead and extend this out here. We're not going to build the actual dedicated item input system today, that will be next episode, but if we put water here, that will flow all the way over there, so we can make the items from that dump down here. Okay, so that actually already is in the correct spot. That's cool. I lined that up perfectly somehow that worked out. So bring this all the way over here, and just for reference, this is a total of 7 blocks out, 8 counting that right there. But you're gonna want to build up a wall like this just around it, so that none of the items like can get out or go anywhere else, and then surround this entire ice pathway with glass like this, so that obviously the water can flow through. And then we're just gonna have to put water in it. But I think then we can actually test this item input system by dumping a bunch of items through and see how well they circle through and make sure they don't get stuck anywhere and fix any problems that might occur. I'm hopeful that there won't be any problems, but you never know. It's often hard to not have problems when it comes to redstone, but just go ahead and fill all of this water in like that. Alright, this should be good. This should return any items that didn't make it in. So what I was thinking we could do is to test this. Let's take 3 stacks of diamonds, and let's put these diamonds in here. So if we put in 1 stack, we should see that all of it, well, actually not all of it, because I guess I couldn't fit all of it. Most of it went in there, and so we should see the rest of it circling around here. Now all of these hoppers are already locked like with other stuff, so that they can't pick up any of these other items, but it looks like it's making its way around pretty well. Let's see, it's still going. Pretty soon it will be at this elevator, and that got stuck there. Alright, we're gonna fix this through the power of a double wide item stream. Yep, it's actually gonna be quite simple, and it should solve our problem. So if we go ahead and let's put that there, and Let's make sure all of this is covered up so we don't dump water down. So let's break these blocks like this. That is completely covered, and okay, that should solve our problem. Let's dump these items right here and test, and then we'll put some more and get a full successful run through. So items going through. Boom, they made it up. Oh, they got flung. Yeah, we need to put a cap on that. That's something that's definitely necessary. There we go. All the items are going through, and they should end up back here. And most of them went through a stack, well, enough to make that a stack went through. The rest of these are going around. Let's watch these go. If they make it successfully around and go in, we'll know that this is fully working. They're still going. Looks like they're not having any problems, which is excellent. And they're still going through. They're at the stretch where it broke before. But no, they went in and it's working perfectly. This is awesome. So now there's an item input system. And best of all, there they go. They're all back in here. Back with the diamonds. Let's go! Alright. That is the end of this segment of Sahara tutorial part 2. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on so as not to miss out on future portions of this tutorial. But I have been Speeve, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!